I heard a really interesting idea from David Deutsch, and it was that he was talking about how Roman numerals and how they would be added together. And what he said was that it's actually the system that does the calculation. So the human is just using the system, and it's the system itself that does the calculation. And that resonated quite a lot. So one of the things that I'm looking at the moment is the role of place value. And so thinking through that idea that it is the system, it seems to me that one of the things we need to start doing is focusing more on the system than perhaps the addition skills. And so this is one of the ways that I would think about doing this. So these then would represent the facts that you would need for addition. So you would need to learn these facts, if you like. So, and I'm representing this in this table because, of course, a table is another part of a system. This is a system as well. So let's get this table. You need to learn these facts as well as how this system works. So, for example, let's get, um, I've got 4 plus 3 or 3 plus 4, and that's going to give me 7. I've got that kind of triplet idea there, so I can also think of that as 7 take away 3 or 7 take away 4. I can do 4 plus 6, and of course, I've got other number bonds to 10 that it's worth thinking about at the same time. And seeing these kinds of patterns are important as well. And it's not just number bonds of 10 that happens with, right? So there we go. And then what about when we get these numbers with 2 digits? We still have to remember them. As 7 plus 8, remembering it is 15 is kind of important just for that reason. Or even 9 plus 6 is 15. So we've got to remember those. But then the other bits that we have to remember are that they are part of the system of place value. And how that works is that if I've got 15 ones, that's not how place value works. And I know that I've got to use the system for what it is used for. And that tells me 110 and 5 ones. So that's an interesting way to think about that. And of course, I can then think about, well, then how would that happen here? Because it's not only single digits, but also one significant figure, numbers that the system has to cope with. And this is an interesting kind of setup now, because now I've got tens added to ones. And how do I use the system for this? Because in theory, it's like they don't actually add together with each other. And this is where you start to see something that might seem familiar, I suppose. So if I'm adding lots of tens and I add ones to them, it's not really like there's addition happening at all. I think it's much more like just concatenation.